Hi, everyone. Traci here with Create Your Future. Today, I want to talk all about how you are already manifesting perfectly. You are a magnificent master manifester. And so, if your desire or desires are still missing from your reality, then that's what we want to talk about today. So, I'm super excited to talk to you guys about this. Before I dive in, just a quick reminder of a few things. We are giving away a free course, How to Identify Your Blocks and Manifest Anything Easily, I believe is the name of the course. You can find the description about the course and how to receive it down below in the description. I am also available for one-on-one coaching. I am a certified life coach and law of assumption coach. And if you would like to get some help on your manifesting journey, I'm happy to work with you and I'm available for coaching. And let's see what else. I have a course available about being a conscious creator. It's all the steps that I sort of went through, all the things that I learned in order to really help me become a conscious creator and really start to manifest things on purpose. So lots of different topics in there, and it's done in modules and chapters. So you can kind of go through it step by step at your own pace. And if there's a certain area that you're learning about in the course that isn't quite sticking, right? It needs a little bit more reinforcement. You can sort of replay that chapter again and again. And then the chapters where you kind of feel like you've already got it, then you can just move on from those. What else? I have some affirmations tracks, and especially my operant power track. I mean, all of them are great, but this one especially, you guys, has been helping so many of my clients. My one-on-one clients have been getting this track and listening to it, and they're starting to get it, you guys, and you will too. This is a shift in how we view reality, how we view ourselves, and really the shift that needs to take place for us to really be the conscious creator, right? Be the one that is consciously and deliberately creating everything. It allows us to react less. It allows us to persist more. It allows us to have blind faith, right? When we really have kind of saturated our mind and chosen the belief system that we are the operant power. So if that is something that you feel like you could use help with, definitely check that out. So many of my clients have been getting it and really having huge shifts. Super proud of them, and I'm proud of the affirmations track. It's a lot of the affirmations that I used for myself as well. And I just knew it was going to be super helpful for so many people. So check that out. The link is in the description for that as well. Okay, you guys, so let's get into this topic. So what are we talking about today? We're talking about how you are already manifesting. You have been since your birth, right? Your subconscious mind is creating your reality. And so a lot of times, so I know, and I myself as well, I had a time period where I just thought, well, I'm bad at manifesting. I really believed that I was in charge, right? To some degree, not to the degree that I understand it today. But it resonated with me. That belief resonated with me, and it made sense. And not only did it make sense, it felt good. It felt good. It felt like truth. It felt like, yeah, I know this is real, but I felt like too, I was bad at it. So that's actually not the case. And maybe you feel the same way. And I want to start this video by telling you, you're not bad at manifesting. You're brilliant at manifesting. So good at manifesting, you're almost unaware that you're doing it, right? To some degree. Because, when we think things are just happening, right? When we think that the world is just happening, it's just existing, it's separate from us, it's outside of us, nothing to do with us, right? It's just a coincidence, or it would have happened anyway, right? I know, because this is how I used to view the external world as well. So when we sort of view things that way, then we don't acknowledge that we're doing it. We don't acknowledge that it's actually the opposite. Everything is perfectly catered to us, right? our consciousness, our thoughts, our beliefs, our assumptions, our conditioning, and we don't really acknowledge that, right? But it is a key, an important part of becoming a conscious creator is knowing and seeing everything as your creation. Now, I want to clean up that verbiage a little bit because this is also a key piece that is really helpful. It was really helpful for me. And I know I see this kind of like aha moment going with my clients when we talk about this as well, which is we're not actually creating anything. Creation is finished, right? It kind of lowers the demand, or it just makes it feel less intimidating, right? When you look at it this way, because we're not creating anything. We're not creating anything. There's no better way to say it. Creation is finished. So what are we doing then? We are with our mind, with our consciousness, with our beliefs, our assumptions, our conditioning, our state of being, which is a little bit of all of that included, and as well as your feeling state, your mood. I've heard Neville sum it up as a mood, and that's really easy because when we say state, we can get into this confused place, but when we say mood, everybody knows what a mood is, right? So it's sort of like your mood, your attitude about yourself, your attitude about the world, your attitude about whatever subject you're on. That is what you are using unconsciously or consciously, right? You can do it unconsciously or you can do it deliberately to select the portion of creation that you want to experience. Now, we don't always do it according to what we want, right? We sometimes do it according to our fears, our insecurities, our doubts, our worries. And so that's called unconscious creating, right? Because we're not consciously choosing that. We're just on autopilot. We're in a reactive mode. So, but nonetheless, we are always, always, always selecting and choosing the portion of creation that we want to experience, right? I've heard another teacher explain it like this, and I'm going to do my best to reiterate it here because it's it was so impactful for me. So he basically was saying that imagine like, every day you wake up and you're sort of in this story that you drew out the story, all the characters, all the surroundings, right? Your house, your car, your job, your wardrobe, everything. You drew it all out, and then you pretend like you didn't. And then you pretend like you don't know what's going on. And not that you pretend, but it's sort of like this misunderstanding that we are in, right? And so you did the drawing, but then you forget, or you have a misunderstanding that you were not the one who drew all the details in, right? But you in fact are. You are the one drawing in all the details, the rules, the concepts that your reality functions by. Your reality functions by your own rules, your own beliefs, how money shows up, how love shows up, how everything, relationships show up, how people treat you in the world, everything. It's all been drawn in precisely by you. Again, unconsciously or consciously. So your job is to recognize, first and foremost, that's all that's happening. That is what's happening. That is the reality of what's going on. And if you think about it, you can sort of get that. You can sort of understand how everything is perfectly catered to your belief system. Then once you recognize that, simply looking at your current picture, if you will, all the details, all the different aspects of your life, and identifying which areas you would actually prefer to experience something different. Then you can start to identify how you would like them to be different. And now we're talking about changing your belief system, changing your past conditioning, changing your beliefs, changing the unconsciously chosen beliefs that no longer serve you, that you no longer want to continue to draw into your reality, right? And you no longer want to be the rule. That's really what this is. You're deciding as a conscious creator how you want your reality to function. How do you want it to operate? Who do you want to be? Who do you want other people to be? How do you want money to show up? How do you want your work to show up? It's all under your control. But you have to realize that. It's a very important first step. You have to realize that, and you have to take ownership of that in order to really be successful at walking down the path of changing your own concepts. Because if you think that your concepts are just the way it is, then you'll struggle against the nature of things, and you'll struggle to change your belief, because your concepts have created your physical, your 3D reality, right? And so we take that as evidence. And they were first created by the 3D reality was first created by a concept, by an assumption. Then when it comes out into your circumstances, those circumstances tend to reinforce the assumption, and then it becomes a belief, right? So again, if you're not aware of all this, then it is much more difficult to change your assumptions, because you keep looking externally and saying, yeah, but that's what's there. That's what's real and true, right? But if you understand all this, then you can sort of break your dependency on the external reality in order to tell you what's real and true. You understand at some point, oh, I get to just decide. I get to decide and work on believing, because this is what I want to experience. This is how I want my experience to play out. This is the life that I want to choose for myself. This is the drawing, so to speak, that I want to put myself in, that I want to experience. So it's an integral part of understanding how to change your beliefs, because at the end of the day, this is a game of beliefs. It's a game of beliefs, right? Everything is being externalized and pushed out according to your dominant assumptions, your beliefs, your state of being, your mood, your attitude, your assumption. And so when you know that everything is being pushed out from you, then you can take a step back and you can deliberately choose to change them. Now, they don't change overnight. Some can, right? If it's a more surface level belief. But if it's a deeper level belief, one that maybe you've had experience after experience after experience after experience to reinforce it, you can still change that, right? Absolutely. But it's not going to change with one affirmation, one new thought. It probably will take some repetition. No problem. Again, as long as you know what's going on, as long as you are not depending on the proof out there in your circumstances in order to change your belief, as long as you know that it's up to you, you're the painter, you're the drawer of your reality, you're the rule maker. And so you recognize this old belief, this old conditioning, and you are now choosing to rewrite it, change it. As long as you understand that it will take time to show up out there, but if you commit to changing it, it will show up out there. It will get pushed out. It will externalize in your circumstances. If you persist, and if you look at your old limiting beliefs, your old conditioning, fears, worries, doubts, insecurities, and you recognize them for what they are. Right? I go through this with my one-on-one clients all the time, which is how to handle fear, how to handle doubts. Well, first and foremost, we have to downgrade it from a fear to that's just a thought. That's just a thought, and that's only one option out of the infinite. I am free to think an infinite number of other thoughts. I do not have to think this one thought that I actually don't prefer to experience, right? That's what a fear is. It's focusing on the unwanted, and then focusing on the unwanted and coupling it with an emotion, which is very powerful, right? So again, the first step is you downgrade it from a fear. That's just a thought. That's just a thought. That's not what I choose. Here's what I actually choose. And with repetition, you can start to reprogram your mind and change your belief system. Again, this is a game of beliefs. It really is. So definitely you can see how knowing you're the operant power, knowing that your consciousness is the real reality, knowing that circumstances are malleable, they're changeable. They will shift and conform and change according to your belief system, right? Knowing all that will be so helpful, because I'll be honest with you guys, and this is from my own experience, my firsthand experience, and what I continue to go through. Changing beliefs is not always easy. And I don't mean that it's impossible. I mean that it can feel challenging, because that's something in your belief system. And again, especially if it's a kind of stronger belief that you've had experience and proof of, right? It's not the easiest thing to change that belief. You absolutely can do it, but it takes repetition. It takes commitment. It takes knowing that you are the operant power, that you are in charge of your beliefs and not relying on the evidence out there. And this is something that I'm still doing to this day. Every time I'm pushing into a new area, manifesting something new, recognizing a new desire, and I shift into, I have that now. That shift into claiming myself to be the person that has my new desire, my brand new shiny desire that just a moment ago I didn't have, brings up my limiting beliefs, my old conditioning, right? I'm human too. But at this point, I know how to work through them. And it's not always easy, right? Like it might take me a day or a couple of days, but I know what's going on. First and foremost, I know what's going on, and I know I'm in charge. If I persist in my new belief, it will get pushed out. It'll get externalized, right? My external world will conform. It will show me the evidence of my new assumption. So I'm going to say it just one more time, because it kind of sums up everything that I'm talking about, and hopefully is just maybe a quick affirmation that you guys can go back to as well, which is, this is a game of beliefs. Your beliefs are a choice. They are a choice. Now, that doesn't mean that you've chosen everyone consciously. No, most, if not all of us, took on a certain, maybe a whole lot of beliefs at a young age that where we are now, those don't even know. We wouldn't choose those, right? But we took them on before we knew any of this, and probably from a young age. And so that's what we've been using and practicing and getting proof of, by the way, in our life. But it doesn't matter. None of that actually matters. Again, if you know how all this works and you know that those beliefs are a choice. And at any time, if you recognize that is a belief, that is something that I've believed in for a long time, it is something that I've even had evidence of, but none of that actually matters. And I know that I can change it right now, because my beliefs are my choice. And I know this is a game of beliefs. And I know that my 3D reality is malleable and flexible and changeable and perfectly, precisely catered to me and my beliefs, right? All of these things. It's so helpful to know them. All right, you guys, I'm going to leave it here for you today. If you have any comments, please leave me a comment down below. If you have any questions about any of this, also leave me a comment. And also, if you want to book coaching for maybe some help with working on changing your beliefs, I'm available for that. And also check out my Operant Power affirmations. All right, see you guys in the next one. Bye.